Hello and welcome to Engaged, the program that focuses on community-engaged research, teaching, and service. I'm here today with Joel Downey, the Executive Director of Starkville Area Habitat for Humanity, and John Brazil, the Construction Manager of Starkville Area Habitat for Humanity. Welcome to Engaged.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I'm going to go ahead and start with you, Joel, and talk about your role with Starkville Habitat for Humanity and your background and how long you've been with Starkville Habitat.
Sure. I'm the executive director, which means I'm over everything. And the one thing I don't have to watch too much is the construction site because we have John here. But I'm over keeping the organization running, fundraising, and community involvement and that kind of thing as well.
And so what is your background? What brought you to Starkville Habitat?
Well, I ran a nonprofit housing program in Hattiesburg, and we did a lot of the same things that we do here, except we did not use volunteer labor. So that's new to me. But I did that for about 12 years, and then my wife was given a position up here, so we moved up here, and I just sort of fell into this position.
Okay, and so how long have you been here?
I think 6 years now.
6 years, and you've been the executive director for that entire length of time. Okay, fantastic.
Yeah.
And you, John, so as the construction manager, so talk to us about your background.
Well, my background is in construction, specifically custom cabinetry.
Okay.
I got involved with Habitat by being invited to be a board member in the late 90s.
Great.
And the more I got involved there, we realized that we needed a construction manager.
Right.
So at some point later on, I became that guy, and I was able to take the time out and do that, and it's been just pure joy ever since.
And so how long have you been in your role with Habitat?
Full time, I would say.
If you want to tell us, John.
Yeah, a decade plus.
Okay.
And a lot of it, a lot of the early years, we weren't building as many houses, so I was able to set aside a month here and a month there, in between other stuff. So.
Fantastic. And so tell me, what's the mission of Starkville Area Habitat for Humanity?
Well, we're a Christian organization, and we follow Christ's commandment to take care of those who can't take care of for themselves.
Okay.
And so our mission is to eliminate substandard housing in Oktibbeha County. And that's a big job, but we really think with the help of God that that's something that we can do.
Sure.
Housing is so vital to individuals, to their families, and also to the community to have homeowners and not renters.
Right.
And Starkville, the housing prices are so high.
Right. And
even in general, in Mississippi, most people with low income cannot afford to put a down payment and get in a house with a regular traditional mortgage.
Sure. And so about how many homes has Starkville Habitat provided?
I believe we're on our 65th in the 30 years that we've been around.
And what's the process for like a community member going and applying for a home? Kind of, what does that look like?
We have a really long, detailed application period. We take applications twice a year. And our committee, our family selection committee, looks at those applications and they pick out, first of all, the people who meet the qualifications, which are they have to be an Oktibbeha County resident, they have to be low income, and that's defined by HUD, and then they have to be able to repay a mortgage to us. And then once they go through that process, they interview and they do home visits, because one of the requirements is that people have to have a better place, have to have a need for a better place to stay. So we actually do the home visits and make sure of what the living conditions are and see which family we can help.
And so how long does it take to build a house for Habitat for Humanity?
It takes about 3 months, on average.
Okay. And talk to me about that process and what it currently looks like with like the people involved in preparing.
The process is interesting. We build a house not necessarily in the way that a contractor would build a house. And the process has to be very flexible because we do have volunteers. And what that means for me as the construction manager, there are days when I have for example, a list of 5 things that need doing. I'll do 1 and 2, and I'll realize Step 3 involves all of my attention, so we just skipped to step 4 to keep people busy, and then I'll backtrack and we'll fill in the blanks afterwards. So you've got to have a plan, but you got to be willing to give it away on the spot.
Right.
So
absolutely.
it's a very flexible process.
So tell me about the kind of the partnership or relationship that Starkville Habitat for Humanity has with Mississippi State University. And
well, I mean, we have a lot of different. I mean, the campus is involved with pretty much every step of Habitat from day one, from the Maroon Edition, and that's large numbers of students. And then we have smaller groups. Engineers Without Borders has done a couple of site plans for us.
Oh, fantastic.
We've had different groups that come out and work at the Habitat site, but we've also had them out at the resale store too.
Right. Okay.
A couple of things that probably would get lost in the shuffle are educational opportunities for certain students and classes. For example, Dr. Moffitt and the Department of Philosophy will send one of his Introduction to Ethics classes out for X number of service hours, and then we will talk about what they're learning in the classroom and apply it to a building, apply it to our process from an ethical point of view of what they're studying in the classroom. Another example was a class in the Department of Architecture, School of Architecture, that we worked with in terms of design, getting materials together, looking at systems, air conditioning, HVAC systems, and things of that sort. And I made myself available to meet with them several times during their semester. So we do things like that too, which you wouldn't, the average person wouldn't expect when they, just see a house being built. So.
Right.
And then more practical, like John Lindhaus does the construction management, and so his folks have to come out and put in certain numbers of hours.
Right.
So, yeah.
So having this hands-on learning component inside the classroom.
Sure.
An excellent example of community-engaged learning.
Sure.
And so the Maroon Edition home project, so we're in our 10th year of that. They're right now building the 10th home. So tell me a little bit about that partnership with the Mississippi State University Maroon Edition and the Maroon Volunteer Center.
Well, I think one of the big things is it's consistent. It's always there.
Right.
MSU is always there. And kind of tying it to what I was saying a few minutes ago, that Maroon Edition annual build has helped draw in the other, some of the other educational components. And I think the value of living in Starkville, Mississippi, with Mississippi State University, gives our affiliate advantages that no one else has.
Right.
So that's of great value to us and the community as well, the partnership.
And I don't think in the state that there's any other university that is so involved with the community as Mississippi State is.
Oh, wow. So
that speaks well of Mississippi State and the leadership at the Volunteer Center and all of that.
So you have a construction crew, right? And they're all volunteers, for a very unique group of people.
That's I have as a crew a group of retirees. It's what I call the afterlife, life after one's career.
Okay.
And so many of these men are retired teachers.
Sure.
And that's of great value when you're working with so many students, and they have a palpable sense of presence about them, which raises the comfort level to students who are new to doing anything like this.
Right.
And it's just wonderful to watch them interact as well. And that gives me a lot of benefits. For example, we're working now.
Right. Yeah.
And I've turned it over to them, and I hope things go well.
I think they'll be fine.
But we have a lot of fun, and these guys are a real blessing. They get a lot out of it too by remaining active.
Sure.
And it's a great thing.
And then through this partnership with MSState, you have between 300-ish to 500 students,
Right.
faculty, and
right.
staff each
Yep.
semester
That's
that will
correct.
help
That's
build the house.
Mhm.
And they don't have to have skills, right?
No.
Those are unskilled volunteers.
That's right.
And so they typically will show up at the work site and might, put on a hard hat, bang some nails, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes they'll be working on the roof or various other things. And then you have a crew that has to work with these unskilled volunteers, and up to 20 sometimes at a time, right?
Yeah, we have a lot of patience.
That's what I was getting at.
Well, and when you get down to it, the house is going to be built in 3 months.
Right. Right.
My view is in my head, I say, well, what's your hurry? Take your time, visit with these students, get to know some of them, and have a relationship. And through that talking through, you tend to get their comfort zone, especially if they're standing on a roof. They need a few minutes to get oriented and get used to being up there. So, we just carry on a conversation, and pretty soon they have a skill they didn't know they had.
And then what a great way to get engaged in the community by, putting like a hammer in their hand.
Sure.
And one thing is, I remember working on Habitat houses when I was in college, and I still know where the house is. I can still drive by the house.
Yes.
And these guys, once they leave Starkville, they'll be able to bring their kids back and say, "Hey, I worked on that house."
Yeah,
Right.
that's
So-
great.
There's a legacy.
And do you have a lot of returning volunteers?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay,
we do.
quite a
yes.
few. So they'll come back.
Yeah.
And they'll start as freshmen and even come back as a senior.
We've got people who have been there multiple years.
All 4
And
years.
we actually used those folks this year to start a campus affiliate.
Okay.
And they're doing great. They've had about 90 people, 90 students who have shown an interest in being in the affiliate, and then they've got about 40 people who have signed up for actual individual jobs.
Oh, that's
So
fantastic.
they're really doing a good job with that. And let me give you that email if somebody's interested in joining. It's bulldog.habitat@gmail.com.
Great, thanks.
So-
Awesome. Well, I've enjoyed today, and I appreciate you guys coming out, and we look forward to future partnerships.
Thank you.
Thank you very
so-
much.
Thank you. This is our session of Engage. We hope that you'll go forth and get involved in your local community, do good things, and take your time to invest in someone else. And we hope you'll join us on future sessions. Thank you.